Hi Flosstube, it's Stitching Joanne here with an impromptu Flosstube video. So I've gathered all my stuff together and not really thought this through, so a lot of the details will be written on the screen. I have 6 finishes, 6 cross stitch finishes, 3 cross stitch whips, 5 non-cross stitch finishes, 2 non-cross stitch whips. I haven't done a video since the beginning of November, so it's something like 2 months and 3 weeks work, what I'm going to show you. So the first thing I finished was this stamped cross stitch from Twillies of Stamford. I have no idea if you'd be able to get this anymore. It's from like 1983 or 86 or something. It's just like a synthetic fabric that had this design printed on in blue, and stitch over it. It was quite tricky because the crosses that were stamped on it didn't join up, so I wanted mine to join up, so I had to kind of work that out. The last time I showed you this, I'd got the top border down to these yellow flowers and the trunk of the tree done, I think. So I've done basically all of it. Yes, as you can see, it's just like basic cross stitch, and then in the people you've got satin stitched skin. The flowers are lazy daisies, the green bits are lazy daisies, and then the other bits are French knots. His cane is like couched, and I liked doing the flower pot. So that's the first one. The next thing I finished was this deer. What you're seeing on camera is rubbish because it looks all grey, but it isn't. There's a better picture of it on my Instagram. This is from Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament edition, I think 2019. It's originally charted in red, yellow and green, but I've changed it to pinks and purples, and the fabric, which you can't particularly tell, is cloud blue pink by Fabric Flare, which I bought from Sew It All. Oh, and it's sparkly as well. So that's that one. I stitched that over Christmas, well, in December. The next finish is my Temperature Garden by Stitching Mummy. I don't know which is the top and which is the bottom. Oh, yes I do. Ta-da! So this is Stitching Mummy's Temperature Garden, minus the centres of the flowers, minus the stems and leaves and the months. So it's literally just the petals from the design. It's stitched on 22 count black hardanger, which I think I had to buy from I'm sure it came from Bulgaria or somewhere, something beginning with B. And what I thought was interesting to see was that obviously this is the year 2020. This December was colder than most of last winter. I don't know why I think that's interesting, because I thought February was meant to be the coldest month, but turns out we had a very cold December. So that's Temperature Garden, that's finish number 3. 3 finishes left. So the next finish is this little mouse. It was a cover kit from a magazine. I don't know which one. It's not stitched exactly as charted because it had you fill in all the white and it had you put some like green grass type shenanigans at the bottom, but I just wanted to do the black work basically, and I've done the pattern on that side. Putting it together was a bit of a nightmare, but yeah, I think it's turned out pretty cute. Oh, I've got his tail caught. Look, there's his little tail. It's got a little knot in the end. I do like my 3D cross stitch things. So that's my mouse. And then 2 things that I've finished this year already. The first one is this black work. I think it was called Diadem by Holbein Embroidery. And that's stitched on Ada with black and a gold metallic. It came as a kit. So, and then the last cross stitch finish is this keyring that I made. I got some 40 count linen, I think in my last video, and I received this keyring blank as part of a Christmas present. It had like all little bits in, so I thought I would try the 40 count and put it in this little keyring. So the design was a free design from needleandthread.com, which is Mary Corbett's website. I found it by googling Quaker motif, and then it was one of the pictures, and then the picture took you to the website, and then you could download the charts from there. It's got like 8 charts on it or something for a spot sampler. Anyway, I picked my own colours to make it look samplery. I love it. I just put white paper on the back. And I don't know if I did it wrong, but the bit you press in, I've put on the back, not the front. And my logic was that if dirt got in here, it would go on the paper, not the stitching. But now I really think it's cute and want loads of tiny key rings, but the 40 count was a bit horrific, so I don't know if I'll be doing that again. My next thing to try on the 40 count would be stitching over 2. Maybe I could upgrade to a coaster. That's let me check, that's all my finishes since my last video. So I've got 3 cross stitch whips to show you. My first one is my Haid, which is December by Anna Dittman. using Pattern Keeper and Cross Country. This is where I got to. Pretend you can't see through it. So, I think the last time I showed you, I just had page 1. This bit. And what I did was, using Pattern Keeper, I went through, like scrolled through the colours and did the ones that were like under 20 stitches and did all those and zeroed them out. In fact, let me have a little look. So that's what all these little random stitches are. I was doing them from least stitches to most stitches for quite some time. And you can probably tell better on the back how much of that there was. Quite a lot, but that was quite fun. Let me see. And then I wanted to go back to doing it by pages, but I wanted to do it from least to most by page. So I split the PDF into individual pages and just uploaded the page, because then it's got the, in brackets, like the number of stitches. If you let me zoom in. No, of course it won't. So you have your colours and then the number of stitches next to it, obviously. So I had those by page, and then I was doing least to most by page. Because what I'm doing is finishing, this is 2 over 1 10th stitch on 25 count, whatever that's called, Brittany. I was finishing my stitches using the pin stitch. So the problem would be if I did like a massive block of colour and then there was just like one stitch up here, I would then have to travel that thread really far to finish it off as a pin stitch. So I was trying to get like the isolated stitches done first. You know what I mean? And anyway, doing it by page turns out was a bit rubbish, because still, say there's like 1,000 stitches of blue, you could still end up with one of those 1,000 stitches on its own. So that didn't really work. So anyways, I went back to using the full chart, but I wanted to see how many I'd zeroed out. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I've zeroed out 26 colours, which is fun, because what I wanted to do was, because I've got a bunch of them on a ring, I wanted to like be able to return them to my main thing. What's it called? Master set. So yeah, I've done that obviously with these, which is mostly like pinky purples. So anyway, so I've done like page 2, and this is page I don't know web page that is. I think I've still got like a bit further down to go. So anyway, that was part of my whip go. In fact, my whip go. So yeah, this was part of my whip go. This is my whip go. I've only got 3 whips. Well, I only had 3 whips. So they're just all on there. What? 5, 6, is it 7 times? 7 times 3 is not. Yeah. Whatever. So it's like Ballerina Beauty, December, Spring Topiary. Ballerina Beauty, December, Spring Topiary. So anyway, and my goal is 5 days. So yeah. So that's why I was working on this, because I needed to do 5 days on this, and it was winter, and someone on Instagram keeps posting pictures of it, so I had to get mine out. Okay, that's enough about that one. The next whip, which is called For 5 Days on my whip go, was Spring Topiary Garden by Mirabilia. At the minute I'm stitching this without the butterfly wings because I'm not sure about them, and they require like £20 worth of overdyes. So here is where I am. So last time I showed you I had this lady done by my head, and this time I've gone over here and done, well, most of this lady and like her flowers. I don't know what this is. I think it's 32 count, whatever that is. Not Lugana. Lugana? No, that's 28 count. No. 28 count. I mean 32 count. Oh my god. It's ridiculous. Oh, and also there's like a weird thing with her hair in the picture. So I've only like done this bit for now, because in the picture it like is like a bit that like sticks out of her shoulder that I'm not sure about. So I just can't stick to anything. Have to change everything. So that's Spring Topiary. Let me see. And then I have a new start, a cross stitch new start of this Joy Sunday stamped cross stitch kit, because Anne's Crafty Life? No, yeah. Anne from A Colourful Life, but on her other channel, was showing these stamped cross stitch kits from Everyday E-Deals, and I've had stamped cross stitch kits before, but they were 11 count, so I didn't like the coverage, so I was looking for a 14 count one just to try, and it was like £3 something from Everyday E-Crafts. Did I say that? So I started it last night. Obviously you can't see what I did. I've done some brown in the middle, and then it's like pale purple like here, some pale purple. Here's all the threads. It comes with the chart anyway, because some of the symbols they've printed onto this are very similar. Like there's lime green next to a pale lime green, so can't be dealing with that. feel like I'm very negative. I think it's gone too hot. So the next things I'm going to tell you about are not cross stitch. So I'd love for you to say, oh actually, just because they were on my table and I've not put them away yet, I purchased this chart Leslie Tier from World Cross Stitch 166, and I got the Lizzie Kate snippet sampler season thingies. Oh. Because they came up on eBay for £13 and I never bought something so quick. Because that's so good price, because you can't really get Lizzie Kate in the UK anymore. Now we're doing the no cross stitch thing. So the first thing we need is like dead random. I made some slippers. They're looking dark on the camera, but they're red. Oh, why can't you see them? They're red, like Santa's shoes. And they are faux fur lined, and they've got like little grommet things with a ribbon laced up. I don't like how I've laced them up because like the bow is on the inside, which is a bit weird, so I need to change that. I just put some like canvasy type fabric on the bottom. You can see where I've hot glued a shoe insole into it. Yeah, this was a free pattern. Yeah, I'll put it. And the fabric was like remnants from an art place that every now and then has like a fabric sale. I think they're surrounded by factories that do upholstery, so they just get tons of upholstery fabric that you can buy for like 50p. So they're my slippers. I was well impressed with myself. That's my slippers. The next thing is I crocheted some white butterflies for something to do with domestic violence. Is it called An End to Domestic Abuse or something? I don't know. But it was to highlight, it's the White Ribbon campaign. So anyways, my suggestion to the WI was that we make white butterflies. We were meant to do a display for a local women's project, but I don't think we got round to it. But I think we did like a collage and submitted photos. I don't actually know what happened, but these are some crochet white butterflies from the Bella Coco tutorial. The next thing was my honey cowl. I finished. It's a lovely purple colour that looks blue, and it's like a slip stitch pattern. Jessie Marie's made this years ago. The yarn is cotton from a Knit Crate subscription box. It's quite good, but I don't know if it's because it's cotton, but it's like gets really stretched out and then it gets like really thin. The next thing was I'd done some English paper piecing a long time ago that I needed to make into something. So I made a bag. Obviously this part is the English paper piecing, and it's got this little panel at the bottom, and it's spotty on the back, and it's spotty inside, and it's got iron-on fusible fleece in it to make it substantial. And then what happened with the top was when I put the lining in, it turned out it was too long for the outside, so I attached my handles here and then put an extra strip around the top. So it looks planned, but it wasn't, because then, like when you're like looking in your bag, the handles flop to the outside and you can see in your bag properly. So that's my English paper piecing bag, which I've never used. Well, obviously because we don't leave the house these days. And then the last thing I made is so cute. I knitted Mrs. Claus. It is from this book, 50 Knitted Dolls by Sarah Keane. So you start with the feet and you knit her some legs. You knit a leg, hold it, knit the other leg, join the legs together. You knit her some pants, and then her body is like red, and then her head is like knitted in this part as well. You like draw it together at the top, and then you do some arms, which are hands up. It's all seamed, so none of it is in the round, thank goodness. And then you have to knit her skirt, which has this little picot edging, which is actually made by knitting a strip with eyelets in the middle, so then when you fold it, it creates this wibbly wobbly edge, which I think is dead clever. And then you have to knit her this apron, which is you knit this middle bit, and then you knit the outside bit, and then fold that over and sew it on. And you have to knit this little bow, which is just like a little strip that obviously you turn into a bow. You have to knit these garter cuffs, garter stitch, which you obviously wrap around and so on. You have to knit her little collar, which you sew on, and you have to knit her hair, which you sew on. It's like sewn onto her head. And you have to knit the bun and then sew it onto the hair whilst it's sewn to her head. And you were meant to knit this, and I was just like, no. And then you have to give her some little eyes and a mouth, and these like button things. She had 12 pieces to put together, but she's so cute. I think I did a bloody good job. So I don't want to put her away. She just sits there. Okay, embroidery. So then there's two things that I've started that's non-cross stitch. One is the stitch wheel. This is an embroidery sampler, embroidery learning sampler by Kathy Reevy of Threads Workshop. And so you get the template, and then she teaches you the stitches that go in each part. So this is split back stitch or split stitch, depending on whether you go forward and back, or you go like forward, up, forward, up, forward. Yeah. So if you wanted to do this, you'll need two skeins of whatever colour you do this in. I haven't started yet, but she's got like a YouTube tutorial for each stitch, and it's on some kind of canvasy calico fabric that I got from the art place for like 50p. The next thing is, I don't know if you watch Simply in Stitches, but she's knitting the Lamorna Gumsey Sweater. So I decided I was going to as well. I don't know if you can see the pattern very well, but it's got a bit of a pattern at the top, like a Gansey. So I found a local-ish, I say local, it's in a different county, yarn shop that does like click and collect. So I went and got that today, and I'm just knitting it in Stylecraft Special DK in the colour burgundy, which looks black. So I've done my gauge swatch and I've just cast on, and then I've started this video. There was another cross stitch thing I forgot. I want to do these, the Just Cross Stitch, no, the Cross Stitcher monthly calendar thing. This is printed off from my digital version through Press Reader. So I want to do that, but I need to decide what fabric I want to do it on. I could do it on the 40 count, but then if I don't like it, so yeah, I don't know. Oh, I got this as well. I got Make Your Own Polka Dot Knickers by The Makery, produced under license by Crafter's Companion. So I've opened it and had a look, and then was like, no. So that's in the list, in the queue. I got this scratch art thing for Christmas, which you scratch off to make these pretty ladies with flowers and butterflies and things. So that's in the queue. I want to get my paint by number back out because I haven't done that for like over a year, and the paints might dry out and stuff if I leave it forever. I also started this craftsy class course on how to make a pant sloper, which is like a custom fit trouser sewing pattern, and it blew my mind. The amount of maths you have to do is sickening. Look, there's a sheet here. This is the sheet of the maths you have to do after you've taken 12 measurements. Well, after someone else has taken 12 measurements of you, which I haven't got past that part yet. On account of the only person I'm allowed to see is Richard, and I'm not sure he'd be up for that. He might find it too stressful. So anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry if I'm a bit weird. This was literally the sun's come out and make a video. So I might be back at some time. I'll try and put any details of what I've said in the description box. But please do like, subscribe and comment. And I'll see you in my next video.